Fox News alert, NBC News has just released a clip from Lester Holt's interview with President Biden. Let's listen to that.
Let's talk about the conversation this has started, and it's really about language, what we say out loud and the consequences of those. You called your opponent an existential threat on a call a week ago. You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on it.
But will the media and Democrats listen to the president when he calls to lower the temperature? While the former president was still bleeding from a bullet wound to his head, some in the press were quickly trying to blame Trump for getting shot.
Of course, President Trump and his supporters have contributed to this violent rhetoric as well.
Well, absolutely, George. We were just looking back this morning at some of the things that former President Trump has said. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That will be the least of it. He said he was partly joking and that was taken out of context. But those are indeed his words.
He is recovering from these injuries now. This was a traumatic event, no doubt, for him. But I did notice there was no call for lowering the temperature, condemning all political violence, and really trying to signal to his supporters as well not to retaliate or to have any kind of escalation here.
Jesse, I'll go to you first. You know, it's interesting. I just pulled up the quote by Joe Biden within days before the shooting is, "We're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye." Can he really lower his own tone and temperature?
He won't, because that's all the Democrats have. They have this demonization strategy that animates their base, that gets them fired up. They get ratings from it. They make money fundraising from it. So if you take that, that's basically the cornerstone of the Democrats' turnout operation, which is Trump's a threat. And without the Democrats being against Trump, they don't even know what they're for. So we'll see if they're able to table that. I doubt it. I think they just need to go into a corner and sit down and think about what they've been saying. Now, we don't know if Crooks was watching Morning Joe all day and watching Politico report the bullseye comment. We don't know if he had help. We don't know if he's one of these kooks like the Reagan assassin that was trying to impress Jodie Foster. We don't know. But we do know the stories that they've been telling about this man have been toxic, and the language has been way too hot. It's the same thing the CIA does with foreign governments that they want to overthrow. They controversialize the leader. They deplatform. They drum up stupid investigations. And then they whip up this hurricane of hostility, which makes the public so crazy they think they're in imminent danger if the leader stays around. It's damaging. It should never be done inside this country.
You know, Dana, Donald Trump has indicated that for the Republican National Convention, he had, quote, a humdinger of a speech. And he said that after the shooting, he made a decision to give a whole different speech, suggesting that speech is going to be talking about unity. And this is an opportunity for President Trump to be one of the greatest presidents.
And he says in that interview, I was given a chance to help unite the country and even the world. That might not be the exact quote, but it's along those lines. And last night in Biden's speech afterward, I said, I felt like it fell short of hitting the mark. And the reason I did is because he didn't say something like, including me. In fact, last week, I said that we should be in the bullseye. Now, that's a metaphor. Lots of us use metaphors. But I could see how that could be taken today. And so follow me. I will lead. I'm going to be the one who does. But because he didn't do that, Lester Holt is able to say, what about what you said? So they could have taken the sting out of it, but they decided not to do that. And just remember, you know, it was Joe Biden who said that Romney was going to put Black Americans back in chains. It was the Jim Crow 2.0. Even last night, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweets that we have to protect the country from the fascists. So I'm not sure that the message is getting through on the left. I don't know what the end of this week will look like on that front, but yes, there is an opportunity. And I also believe that all of us use metaphors so that we can give each other a little bit of grace on that front and just say, okay, going forward, let's be a little bit more thoughtful about the language. I don't know how long that lasts, but I do appreciate the spirit of the moment.
Yes, and we'll see. And Jessica, I didn't say before, I missed arguing with you. I really did. And I'm so glad to have you back. But, you know, Jen Psaki was demanding, this is after the attempted assassination, that Republicans change their rhetoric, their tone. And she said she's incredibly scared. Rachel Maddow, of course, has always talked about being taken off the air and being put in a camp. I mean, that's the kind of language that I'm really surprised in this moment that Jen Psaki is sticking to.
I think that everyone is concerned about what's to come next. And I've spoken to a number of Republicans, obviously, around the convention who are worried that something else may happen, right? That if it's possible that that shooter could get that close to him, that we could see something else. And it could happen to anyone of any political stripe. And I think that's where Jen Psaki's concern is coming from. I happen to think that you don't need to change the program. You could watch your words, whatever you're going to say, and there are going to be a lot of fiery speakers. Some of them are coming during the day. Obviously, the primetime speeches are going to be big. But I'm not in the business of telling Republicans what they can do with their convention. We'll lead by example of what we think our convention should look like. And the themes of the convention are the basis for the campaign. And
But Jen was demanding that the Republicans.
I know. I'm saying I don't agree with that. I think
I
think that they should be sensible and responsible about the moment, and it's a huge moment to do that. But I wanted clarity from President Biden on the Bullseye comment. We'll watch the Lester Holt interview with interest. But nobody who's being an honest broker can possibly believe that the Democratic rhetoric is the problem here. So if the issue is that we're saying all the time that he's like Hitler and he's a threat to democracy, and by the way, J.D. Vance has also said that he's like Hitler, and I guess he's redeemed now. But Donald Trump sent a fundraising email just last week that said Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. And only one of these candidates has inspired people who sent pipe bombs to leading Democrats across the country, who has inspired mass shooters. Talk about firing up the base. Donald Trump has been doing that since 2016. Remember when he said the Second Amendment people could take care of it? Right when he was talking about Hillary Clinton abolishing the Second Amendment and she'll get to appoint judges. He talked about, remember that congressman from Montana who body slammed a reporter and he said, he's my type. He retruthed or whatever it was, a video of Joe Biden hogtied. Just back in
that was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Your examples
hilarious.
are so tiny.
No, they're
We're
not.
talking about an attempted assassination that left a man dead. The shooter groomed and incentivized by a drumbeat of demonization.
You have no idea
you
what
can
that
call people
Republican
You can call
was
people
groomed
Hitler.
by.
All you want, but you have to ask yourself, why would you? You have a right to say whatever you want. You can say, I'm a Nazi, I'm Hitler, but the question is, why would you?
I would never.
You cannot pretend that you did not know where it would lead. Trump laughs about a picture of a hogtied Joe Biden on the back of a pickup truck. That is not demonization. That is a meme.
And saying to Second Amendment people you could take care of it about Hillary Clinton, what is that, Greg? That was his opponent. That was his political opponent.
You know, the day before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, Joe Biden said he's even more dangerous than I've said before. He's unhinged, he's snapped, and I guess he really didn't watch the debate when he was asked if he had seen it. He's a threat to this nation. He'll win over my dead body.
You know, but you know what? I'm sure when he called Trump, he said, no hard feelings.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it works in politics. I say
he just
you're
said, I'd rather you be
evil.
alive.
No, but you have to understand. It's scary to think that Joe Biden would lie like that, but he has, or it's scary that he would believe this stuff. The real challenge for the party is, what do you do next? You can't do the Trump is Hitler narrative anymore because you'll be thoroughly reviled by the public. You know, you're going to need more than demonization, but you got nothing else planned. So you're going to pivot to abortion. Good luck with that. When it comes to Trump as Hitler, the dog caught the car, and you realized you can't drive it. I think, you know, and you can sit here and you can say, throw all the rhetoric at Trump that you want. Everybody understands Trump. Everybody understands. He makes jokes. Your side wasn't making jokes. When you call somebody Hitler and we say, no, we're not, those two aren't the same thing.
The guy who sent pipe bombs understood the jokes.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
There were pipe bombs. There were pipe bombs that were around January 6th. I still don't know.
Scalise. I mean, come on.
We
happy
can
to talk about it. And Bernie Sanders came out right away and said,
Okay, Jesse.
All right. Well, I just think you should prepare for a beautiful dictatorship, Jessica. It's going to be a 4-year dictatorship, and we're going to get everything we want. From day one
well, he'll
until
probably
the
get
end.
the Supreme Court to give him a second term. They'd do that.
All right. If we could only hope. Yeah. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.